I'm sure recently you have seen the discourse online about physical games. It seems like every few weeks they take a new hit. Best Buy and Walmart stopping the sales of physical media in 2024, majority of game sales in 2023 are digital, and most recently, Xbox supposedly shutting down departments dedicated to bringing Xbox games to retailers, going for an all-digital future. But before I get attacked by a digital-only defender, this video isn't meant to put either side down. I like having options. I think both have their benefits, which we'll get more into later, and should be able to coexist with each other. But with the way things are going, you can tell companies are definitely starting to push for an all-digital future, and I don't know how I feel about that. Out of the main three, Xbox seemed to be heading that way first. We had the all-digital Xbox One S, or Xbox SAD for short. Then of course the Xbox Series S, and the rumors of an all-digital mid-gen refresh Xbox Series X. Yeah, I would not be surprised if the next generation Xbox just went completely all digital. They have even said themselves they are last in the console war race and want to focus more on selling their subscription service, Game Pass, which is very evident. Look, I think Game Pass is great. I've tried many games on there I probably would have never tried if they weren't on this service. I even know some more casual gamers out there who are happy to just subscribe to this service, play whatever it has to offer, and never buy a game again, and that is great for some people. However, there are still many people out there who would rather buy their games and own them physically, or maybe even do a little bit of both. You may walk into a store and see a used game for a cheap price and decide to pick it up, or you may be browsing the digital store and see a really great sale on and decide to pick up some games digitally, even though physical is your usual choice. Again, I even do this myself personally. I like options. PlayStation also has a digital-only PS5 as well as a Game Pass alternative, but to be honest, I don't see them hammering down on digital-only as much. And the same applies for Nintendo, but they don't have a digital-only console yet. And this is probably because physical media is very much alive in Japan and makes up for the majority of sales, and to be honest, even the physical to digital ratio outside of Japan for these consoles isn't that bad in certain countries. But I think over the next few generations, things will start to change. It's a given. And it isn't just the console manufacturers pushing this. It is also third-party developers, like the most recent digital-only Alan Wake 2. Or even with a lot of Switch games, we get a physical case, but inside there is a download code only. So why is this? Why do gaming companies want a digital-only future? Money. It's that simple. If they have their games only available on the digital stores, it saves them having to print the games, distribute them, the retailers taking a cut, etc. Basically, like everything, it all boils down to money. The whole physical versus digital war has been going on for years and isn't just exclusive to gaming, but I have always had the opinion that we should be allowed to have multiple options, not be tied down to just one, as I've delved between both formats myself. I'll even admit, for things like TV series and movies, I've gone all digital, and I've been like that for a very long time. I'm not as passionate about that form of media as I am with gaming, so I don't mind going all digital for stuff like that. And even towards the end of the PS4/Xbox One generation in early Switch years, I decided to try going all digital with that as well, and you know what? It has its benefits. It saves space, you can quickly switch between games, all your games are in one place, you can access the game at midnight straight away when it launches. You don't have to go to the store and actually socialize or wait for the delivery when buying a game. It's great for indie developers, for example, who may not have the resources to produce physical games. So again, it has its benefits. But then I started to miss actually having these games in my hand, having a collection, a shelf to display them on proudly. I saw people on Twitter posting the new game they picked up and I missed that. So with the release of Kirby and the Forgotten Land in 2022, I decided to go back to getting physical games and haven't regretted it since, because physical games also have many benefits. As I mentioned, you can proudly display the games. It is often cheaper, especially when buying used games. You can borrow games, you can sell them. If digital stores shut down, some games can become lost media unless you decide to become a pirate. And in extreme cases, even if you've bought a game digitally, the developers can still pull your access like we saw recently with the day before. Also with consoles like the Switch, games are stored on the cartridge, mostly, so it saves needing to have a big micro SD card, and also I can torture my copy of 1-2 Switch. The list goes on. But I think for me, the preservation aspect is the most important. Just think about how many games have been pulled from digital stores, some not even having any physical release. They are gone. Dr. Luigi, the most impactful piece of art ever released, cannot be purchased legally anymore since the Wii U eShop closed. The only way you can play this game is if you already bought it, or again, if you become a pirate. And I know, even if you buy some games physically, they technically can still not work if they are online only. Like for example, The Crew. The server shut down for this in March of this year, so once they shut that game down, it won't be playable anymore. But that's a whole different topic. As long as I can play my copy of Flushed Away on the GameCube, that is all I care about. All in all, I think going forward, having both a digital only console and one that can play physical games is the best solution. Exactly how the PS5 did it. They both have the same power. If people aren't interested in physical games, they can get the cheaper alternative with no real drawbacks, and further down the line they can always buy a disc drive if they change their mind. Both parties will be happy. But sadly, I do see physical games coming to an end soon. And some people are fine with that, and that is okay. But me, I am a proud owner of Garfield Kart Furious Racing physically, and you can never take that away from me.
Sunrise.